Hebrews 10:18. The end of shadows and the perfection of the offering. The passage opens with a declaration concerning the nature of the law. It is described as a shadow of good things to come, not the very image of those realities. A form but lacks substance. It gestures toward something greater but cannot embody it. The sacrifices offered continually under that system, year after year, could never bring perfection to those who drew near. Their repetition testified not to their strength, but to their insufficiency. If they had accomplished their purpose, they would have ceased. Instead, they served as a continual reminder of sins. The blood of bulls and goats, though commanded within the covenantal structure, did not possess the capacity to remove sin in a final sense. Rather, it maintained a system of remembrance. Each offering echoed the same truth. The problem remained unresolved. The worshiper stood within a cycle, approaching, offering, departing, and returning again, never fully cleansed, never brought into lasting completion. Into this context, the voice of the Son is introduced. Sacrifice and offering you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. Here the focus shifts from the multiplicity of offerings to a singular will. The Son enters the world not to participate in the repetition, but to fulfill what those repetitions anticipated. The will of God is not ultimately satisfied in the continual presentation of animal sacrifices, but in the obedience embodied in the offering of the Son himself. The statement, "Behold, I have come to do your will," marks a decisive turning point. The first order, the system of repeated sacrifices, is set aside, not because it failed in its intended role, but because its role was preparatory. It was never the destination, it was the signpost. The second is established in its place, the once-for-all offering that accomplishes what the former could only foreshadow. By this will, those who draw near are sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. The language is definitive. It does not speak of an ongoing process dependent upon repeated acts, but of a completed work grounded in a singular offering. Where the former priests stood daily, ministering and offering repeatedly the same sacrifices, which could never take away sins, this priest, after offering one sacrifice for sins for all time, sat down at the right hand of God. The posture is significant. The standing priest reflects an unfinished task. The seated priest signifies completion. The work is not ongoing in the sense of repetition, but accomplished in finality. From that position, he awaits the full subjection of his enemies, the unfolding of what his finished work has secured. The text then declares that by one offering, he has perfected forever those who are sanctified. The tension between repetition and finality is resolved here. The many offerings could never perfect. The one offering does, and it does so forever, indicating a state that does not require supplementation or renewal. The witness of the Spirit is then brought forward, recalling the promise of a new covenant. I will put my laws upon their hearts and write them on their minds. This internalization contrasts with the external system that preceded it. No longer is the relationship mediated through continual external rites. It is established inwardly. The defining statement follows: their sins and their lawless deeds I will remember no more. This is not the language of temporary covering, but of decisive removal from remembrance. The repetition of sacrifices once kept sin continually before the people. The final offering removes it from divine remembrance entirely. The conclusion drawn is clear. Where there is forgiveness of these, there is no longer any offering for sin. The entire structure of the passage moves from shadow to substance, from repetition to finality, from reminder to removal, from standing to sitting, from many to one. The system that once governed access has given way to a completed work that establishes it. The offering has been made, the will has been fulfilled, and the result is a perfected standing grounded not in continual sacrifice, but in a finished and singular act.